Agile and resilient. If there are two words supply chain professionals have heard ad nauseum during the pandemic, it's exactly those two. We're all nodding our heads seriously. However, the real question is how to achieve them. Today, we cover some ideas to build resiliency into the supply chain. I start by a risk-based approach. There are different ways of dealing with risk: avoidance, mitigation, transfer, acceptance, and control. Each time a component or raw material has to cross a border, you generate risk. Ask yourself, is that risk you could possibly avoid? If you have a single source supplier, is that a risk you can avoid by adding another supplier? Or do you want to mitigate the risk by monitoring and collaborating closely with the supplier? Many supply chains rely on their legal department to transfer risk to their suppliers: inventory risk, financial risk, etc. But remember, a transfer of risk does not prevent a disruption. In the end, if you decide to accept a risk and decide to control it, carefully think about the impact on your deliverables. As I'm known for saying, it takes 2,500 parts to make a car and 1 part to not make a car. So once you recognize the risks in your supply chain, it's easy to see how you may benefit from near-sourcing or simplifying. With the freight market in upheaval and many modes of transportation less reliable, transportation is its own risk. Carefully control and mitigate any single source supplier. And whether single source or not, your best bet for increased resiliency is to have contingency plans in place for each supplier. Now, intellectual property issues and contract clauses may come into play as you are developing these plans. The key is to collaborate and innovate. Ask yourself, which innovative solutions can you pull out? In a pinch, could a 3D print solution work? Also remember to map out the risk of Tier 2 suppliers or even Tier 3 suppliers. So as you make sure that everybody in the supply chain have their own contingency plans, make sure that the contingency plans align. For instance, if a supplier moves production to a different location during a disaster, is that workable for your other supply chain partners? Another interesting question that I always ask is, which relationship do you have with your suppliers? I always believe in being the preferred customer. When the supplier is running at low capacity, and we just saw that happen, which customer is given priority on the production line? Well, if you negotiated the last penny off their profit, then paid them late and finally yelled at them, guess what? A more profitable and collaborative supplier will get the line time while you get the go-around treatment. In the meantime, organizations that collaborate with suppliers are not just more resilient, but has also been shown to be more profitable. So go figure, why not everybody do that? Having great technology solutions is a must for resiliency. Figure out how to get visibility. Know the geographies of your supply chain, the vulnerabilities, and the status. Get that information real time. This is a big topic, so let's cover that another day. But in the end, I want to share my thoughts about people. True resiliency is people-based. And that's because you can only avoid a certain percentage of the disruptions. It's simply not feasible nor practical to plan for all contingencies. Yes, we were all unprepared for the pandemic. But that doesn't mean that we should spend all our resources on avoiding every single scenario. Instead, avoid and mitigate, prepare and plan, then hire really competent staff members to pull together the on-the-fly plans for the final surprises. You can prepare for the 90% or 95%, maybe even the 98% of disruptions. But in the end, people are going to make the difference for mitigating the last percentages and, frankly, for even executing on the plans. I've always believed in hiring the very best. My company, ALOM, has many supply chain pros to know on the team. We have staff members who have the respect and awards from the peers. What has made me tremendously proud is to see them pull out a very, very strong skill set out of the toolbox to support our customers, and even through the height of the pandemic, to ship 100% on time. There are many other ways you can get resiliency, yet my advice is to focus first on 3 areas. Assess and deal with supplier risk. Use technology to create visibility and meaningful real-time data. And finally, hire the very best people. Listen, we have seen how fragile supply chains are. ALOM continues to work with our clients on risk mitigation, just because nobody knows what may happen next.